one of the mistakes that happens in the real estate industry is...
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? To get the answers, we interview top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. Listen, we believe every agent should make a minimum of $100,000 per year, and we're on a mission to make this happen. We've already helped over 100 agents achieve this with our coaching. So if you want to fast track your business growth, get to your first $100,000 in GCI or add another $100,000 in GCI using social strategies, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com, or you can just click the link in the description below. Also, just make sure to follow us, hit that subscribe button, and if you get any value from this at all, please tell a friend and leave us a review. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
So you obviously didn't learn all of this stuff magically. Didn't just come to you one night and you were like, there's this thing called Calendly on the internet and someone hasn't told me. So your second topic is about immersing yourself in knowledge, whether that be books, podcasts, videos, coaching, in the beginning. But to be fair, I would, say always, like I still immerse myself now. It's how I continue to learn in this ever evolving market. So unpack, how you go about this. And there's something specific that I want to kind of speak about, which is how do you know what to not take in, which is, I think, where people struggle to draw the line. I think there is a firm line that should be drawn, and I think that's to do with focus. Yeah. So I want to see how you will tackle your second topic, which is the immersion and knowledge.
Well, no, that's a really good point, dude, and I'll hit on that in just a minute because that's something I really struggled with. But so you're right. There's a lot of learning to do, and I think we should always be learning. One of the things that I always did was, like, the car was my university, right? So every time I'm in the car, I got an audiobook going, I got a podcast going. And when you're starting, some people may give it a different recommendation, but I think when you're starting out, you don't know what you're doing. So try the shotgun approach, see what sticks to the wall, listen to everything, right? But at some point, you're going to start to find, hey, these are some mentors, these are some coaches, these are some people that are successful that I really like their style, and I'm drawn to them for whatever reason. And then I'm going to recommend that you drill down and you only focus on that one or two or maybe three mentors, because what's going to happen really quickly is everybody's going to have different advice, and you're getting advice from all these different folks. And now you're getting confused because there's not going to be a lot of people giving you consistent advice that's the same, right? You have a different opinion than I do, I'm sure, on some things. And particularly, I think the worst thing with this is some of the Facebook groups that we're in. You log into Facebook and everybody's giving you something different. And you're like, holy crap, what am I going to do? There's so many different lead generation things, so many different follow-ups, so many different systems. How do I know what to use? And one recommendation I'd have is, we were talking about that Calendly link. Don't feel as if you need to focus in the real estate industry only. I think one of the mistakes that happens in the real estate industry is everybody focuses only on who are those top coaches or those top trainers in real estate. And that's it. There's a lot of other industries out there that can offer some really good resources, right? So Calendly, for example, you're going to see that more in some tech-focused, startups and even the podcast world or whatever, where that might be more common, but it's something we could bring in to real estate, right? Same thing, one of the areas I've found a lot of success is doing some direct mail and some direct response marketing, right? And the best direct response marketers were not always real estate agents. So, some of the research I did was outside of the real estate industry, and I wanted to learn not just what do you say to somebody on a script on our phone call, but what do you say on a direct mail piece? How do I get somebody to take action and call me or go to my landing page, right? And a lot of those things were not real estate specific. So just make sure you're opening things up and exploring everything.
Yeah, so this is a great topic because this is actually comes from where me and Peter come from. So the way we built our systems, our coaching, the way we've helped agents, it never came from real estate. I came from e-commerce initially, and publishing specifically. So when you said about drawing from other sources, I'd already for different companies made over $100 million in trackable revenue. And I was like, well, this works for this. And then I was like, well, why wouldn't this work for real estate? And it does, which is when we started, doing it for ourselves, coaching people on how to do it, because real estate at minimum is 10 years behind. Minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum 10 years behind. Like it's even further behind tech, maybe 20 years. The beauty of this is you're kind of living in the future. If you just go and look, at all these other sources. In fact, we had another guest, I'll give her a shout out, Jess Lenoble. She was on. She was exactly the same. So she was a 7-figure agent. And she was like, I got a lot of my inspiration and sources from places that weren't real estate related, which is how I came up with my system. And it was like, I just learned from these other places. And that gave me this advantage. She was like, but this was old stuff for them. But it's like 10 years ahead of where real estate is. So it's like living in the future. And we like I said, we're very much the same. I think one of the things you touched on as well, which is like you tried some direct response, you tried some direct mail. Now we're big proponents of like a single focus on a single lead source is kind of where something we hammer down on. We're big on the Facebook platform. Like that's 95%. And we're now branching out into the YouTube side of things, but don't get it twisted. We've been doing Facebook now for north of 3 years. Like we know this thing inside out, back to front, upside down, blindfolded, hands turned behind our back. Every which way it comes, we've done Facebook now. Well, I've done it for nearly 10 years. So been on the platform. So, and it's now I'm like, let's do a bit of YouTube. I haven't done it for a month, right? Do you know what I mean? And there's also 2 of us doing this. So it's different because we've got twice as much kind of bandwidth. But do you have then, when it comes to like immersion and focus and learning, have you selected a certain group of lead generation sources in this example that you only did? So it might be, say, Google Ads and direct mail. Are they like, this is what I focus on? Or are you a bit more expansive?
Well, no, I agree with you 100% that you need to focus on one lead generation. We call them pillars, right? But until you get to mastery at that level, and then add another pillar, and you could operate a really successful business off of 2 or 3, lead generation pillars. I've kind of gotten to the point where I didn't do this by choice. It just kind of happened organically, where you're talking about Facebook ads, right? I was probably one of the first people, right? I remember transitioning from doing Craigslist posts over to Facebook ads when they first started, and getting leads for, pennies. And so it was really cool, but I'm not doing, so we run a lot of Facebook ads. Right now I run 0 for lead generation. It's all retargeting to stay in front of the database that I have already. So right now, almost half of my business is referral business. I never intentionally, and I probably should have, I never intentionally did that. I've just been doing it long enough that now that's kind of organically grown. One of the things I'll mention on referrals is one of the niches I found was I'm getting a lot of referrals from business partners and relationships, right? So referral doesn't have to be from your past clients. It can be from your home inspector, your termite inspector, your CPA, your attorney, right? Your general contractor. These people, you're giving them business every day, right? If you're doing good business, you're giving them business all the time, and you want to work with somebody who doesn't already have another realtor relationship. Be their realtor relationship, right? But my primary focus for me personally is we do Google PPC, realtor.com leads, and then I'm spending a lot of money in just staying in front of my sphere, my past clients, the people that are in my database already. We do direct mail, gifts to them, running YouTube ads, pre-roll ads to stay in front of them, running Facebook ads, which isn't really lead generation. That's more lead follow-up, I'd categorize it as. But we've already developed such a large database that now that's kind of a necessity.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a good strategy.
Do you feel like that's also getting you a lot of ROI long term?
I do. One of the problems with retargeting is it is difficult to track the ROI, right? Because you don't always know exactly where they came back from. But I know that particularly if you're not a team member on a team and you're running a team or you're solo, you're going to get to a point where you have enough leads that you cannot call them frequently enough to stay in front of them. So we have to add other techniques that are automated and other systems that try and stay in front of them so that we know who those people are, that cream that kind of raises to the top of who the people I should be calling are.
And for your retargeting, what are some of the things that you're actually putting out in front of your audience? Is it just like, another type of direct response ad where you're, looking to buy or sell a house, or you're putting out content, or what is it that you're actually showing them?
Yeah. So, well, for the focus on past clients, I'm recording YouTube videos, doing different YouTube topics, using them as pre-roll ads. It's more of a branding thing. I'm not doing a call to action. I'm just trying to stay in front of them. It's really the simplest form of, hey, when they think of real estate, I want to make sure they're thinking of me. That's all, right? On Facebook, I'm doing video content, I'm blogging, we're putting that on social, we're using that to retarget to them. And then we're also using Ylopo, which has the integration to follow them around with different listings that have sold in their area. So it'll know what zip code they're in, and then it'll follow them around with, hey, this is what's sold recently in your zip code. Or if they're a buyer, here's what's available for sale in your zip code. And the idea is, again, that, they go on YouTube, they're seeing me. They go on Facebook, they're seeing me. We're sending them a monthly postcard in the mail. They're seeing me that way. And then I'm also calling, texting, and emailing them. So hopefully through one of those mediums, I'm staying in front of them and they're remembering who I am.
So I've got a quick fire question for you, Adam.
Yeah.
In your topic, you mentioned about books, podcasts, videos, and coaching. So my quick fire question is, off the top of your head, what books, podcasts, videos, coaching would you recommend to our listeners that have really helped you?
So quite a few for books. I haven't really followed them in a while, but Grant Cardone's 10X rule changed my life. That was a really powerful one. And one of the things that Grant has said in some of his books is, like, people want to be sold. They want a salesperson. So don't forget to be a salesperson. Right. As far as podcasts, Joshua Smith, I think, has a great podcast. I'm adding yours to the list. Of course, I've been following you since we've connected. I'm trying to think what else. Michael Hellickson in Club Wealth is really great. Right. And then I'm following a lot of Ylopo stuff because, we pay for them as a tech platform. So like the guys over on Lab Code Agents, like Tristan Almada, they're awesome. So I'm following a lot of his YouTube content.
Love it. Coaching? Any coaching recommendations? Elite Agent Secrets. Thank you. That was the answer.
Yeah. So in all seriousness, right at the bottom of this video is a link, right?
At the bottom of this video is a link to our coaching. Absolutely. But your coaching that you've done the last 10 years, anyone that you would recommend, be like, this guy was amazing?
Yeah. So I think, again, it's depending. You want to find a coach that's going to align with what you're trying to do. I think Club Wealth is really great. I think Joshua Smith, I mentioned, he has a great boot camp, but it's not a one-on-one coaching. Where I'm at right now is, so Camille Taylor, she's more of a mindset, coach and kind of peak performance coach. So it depends what you're looking for. There's coaches out there that, I work with Mike Cuevas, a real estate marketing dude, just for like coaching on YouTube and that type of stuff, right? So it depends what you're looking for as far as if it's skill-based, if you're looking for mindset, or if you want to focus on, hey, I'm going to create a podcast to feed my real estate business. Well, that's probably a podcast coach, right? And they exist too. Just haven't done it before.
Find specific ones. Well, this is the thing. Find specific ones that fit you. It's a bit like for us, everyone that comes to us, we're very transparent. It's like, we teach social strategies. That's what we do. So if you're wanting to learn how to be a boss, cold caller, direct mailer, all this stuff, we're not for you. Right. Like, we can teach you how to get social leads. Like, we're very, very good at that. But if you're wanting this other stuff, we're not. And it's also about finding alignment, because some people will enjoy our personalities and some people won't. And that's also a good thing, because you don't want to try and feed everybody, because ultimately it kind of feeds no one. You want to have that that kind of, it's a bad analogy, but Marmite, it's like a love or hate relationship, where it's like people are like, really like Andrew and Peter, or they're like, I fucking hate the fact that he's English and swears. So
very true, though. Very true. But, and don't do them all at the same time, by the way. Like you said, with lead generation, really focus on that one mentor or that one coach, whoever it is. Learn everything you can from that person. Take it, internalize it, make it your own, and then move on to the next skill that you need to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and by the way, if you're listening to this and you aren't making at least $100,000 per year in GCI and you're looking for a predictable system to get you there, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.